What do you think? Potman asks, specifically towards Kat.
What do I think, huh? I can't really reason putting this kid anywhere, honestly. Especially if he's unconscious like this. I mean, if the deer have gotten it, remember how there wasn't any wildlife yesterday? It's, best we get out of here. You know, I don't care how well they constructed that fort. It's probably crawling with rats, and you know what rats do.
Potman kind of nods slowly.
Getting out of here, though, that's... God, what to do with the damn kid? Let's just prop him on the bicycle.
I love the tone of resignation in your voice at that.
Yeah.
That ain't right, though.
I know it's not. Look, we can try to take him to the next town, but we're gonna have to explain that his mother's probably dead.
I wish we could find her.
Yeah. She just walked off into the woods, though, didn't she?
Woods full of zombie deers.
That seems likely, especially if she was trying to, you know, go get to the creek, maybe, for more water, maybe find a place where she could eat. There's no telling.
You know, out in the woods where the zombie deer are.
That's exactly
the zombie
what
rats and the zombie raccoons.
You could eat.
Fuck.
I mean, really, what are we gonna be able to do?
Let's take him to the fortification in the middle of town, then.
Do you really want him to be there when it finally, you know, the shit hits the fan in that?
At least the people there probably got weapons or something.
Weapons don't mean shit against rat bites.
They might at least try to defend themselves.
If he's left out here, what's he gonna do against a couple of zombie dogs?
Probably try to sell them newspaper.
We gotta put him somewhere.
I don't want his death on my hands, but I mean, what is safe? We could give him to the compound, but...
Look, we gave that little girl to the military. Like, what are you so worried about on this one?
At least the military can defend itself.
Yeah, can it?
She was completely comatose.
Like, this kid's much better. He's trying to sell papers at 3 a.m.
He can't protect himself.
To a town of dead people.
At least he's ambulatory.
And?
He may as well be comatose.
If you can't shoot him in the head, he's almost walking around. Change that.
I could bike away, but then again, the deer, dogs. Guess compound's really the safest place for him.
I think that's worth noting that Fletch could tell that, and this is actually, like, no one else, like, here. Fletch himself, if he, like, ran at, like, full sprint, could outrun those deer.
It's not for long.
But eventually, he would get tired.
Resistance fatigue only gets you so far.
Yeah. And no, in all of you, like, even with how quick that Potman is, like, on a flat out, like, foot race, the deer would catch up.
Yeah.
That kid is fucked.
I mean,
if
we're all kind of fucked at this point, though.
If Fletch himself could just barely keep distance between himself and the deer for a short period of time.
Yeah, I don't even think, like, I wouldn't even be making progress. I would just be maintaining the distance.
Well, just find some stairs and you'll be fine.
As I failed my dexterity check. No!
You have failed 2 stairs.
So,
I should have held the handrail like they said.
Yeah, let's basically point him at the compound, drive away.
Wow, that's even worse than I was going to do.
Once we call the compound people
You
Call them?
by yelling at them,
You
getting
can-
the light
you-
shot in their face.
You can leave him and his bike and his stack of newspapers if you'd like, basically like on the avenue that leads down to the compound gate, and then roar
I know.
off.
We'll shoot bullets at them in Morse code.
Ooh, that's smart.
I'll be on the other side of the cement wall while you guys do it.
Mm-hmm. Good call. Good call.
Because you totally want to use your ammunition to communicate with others in Morse code.
Yes, that's the only sensible way to use our ammunition, really. when
I
it
mean,
gets
they
right down
wouldn't
to it.
let us run a string with a cup all the way out here. No, I figured we could at least... And I'm really only suggesting this to help put your minds at ease, is to take him up to the gate and be like, hey, we found this kid who's from here, take him or don't, we're leaving.
Bye.
I would probably also warn them that. Yeah.
No, don't.
No, you'd have to stop me from doing it
They-
or convince me.
They might want us to stay with our weapons, and they might not give us a choice if you do that.
All right. Crazy person ranting about fucking rats.
Is that your course of action then?
That sounds like it.
Okay. You can definitely, take the kid and leave him at the compound entrance. You can shout out that. We'll get a response. You guys can pile up in the vehicle and then roar off.
Yep.
Okay. Trusty Tony has been taking the time. He found a trusty road map of the region. He was like, we can just drive north and eventually maybe hook up with the interstate. Maybe it won't be as bad. That's where you guys want to go.
Sure.
Does that road map happen to make mention of this state park of wonderful wildlife?
Oh, yes. Has a nice big blob there of greenery, indicating that that's South Mountain State Park.
Well, 40 might get us through the wooded area with less running into animals, since the infection zone is north of us. If we just want to follow 40 through towards Frederick. Opinions?
I'm honestly not sure. Whatever seems best, really.
Whatever. We'll go for it then. Trusty Tony guides the trusty vehicle with
Down Alt 40.
mud cover thing, heading for that big yellow road there in the sky.
Is that
Big
how that
yellow
works?
Sky.
Yes, that'll be where we end the session here.
All right.
There you go, Aaron. You had your momentous conflict of hard decisions.
Man, Potman was heartbroken by that whole thing.
I feel really shit about leaving that kid there. And
Right, people, don't trust people, help the kid, don't help the kid, leave the kid behind.
And that's the sort of thing that I wanted to bring to the table. And
Heartbroken.
that you folks, especially you, Aaron, want yourself.
Mm-hmm.
more trauma.
Yeah, that was a hard moment for him. He's going to be sleeping even less at night now.
Okay. Well, since that's 12th session in the books, it's that time again where I want to ask you folks some more detailed questions. For starters, we'll start with a simple one. What did you folks think about the session that we had here today?
I enjoyed it. I probably would have enjoyed it more if we weren't playing with only 2 people for the first part of it and only 3 for the part after that.
For the first 45 minutes, yes, Jordan was missing.
I'd like to apologize for being absent. The time warp.
If there was a power and cable outage, there's nothing you could have done.
I mean, really, you should have repaired it faster.
Oh, yeah,
You
sure.
should have been.
Wired
So
myself
it's-
into it. Gone to a Starbucks or something, right?
Just magics
Yeah.
it up.
Couldn't be helped.
Ryan?
I like the other players' turmoil over such small and possibly insignificant decisions. It was fun. I liked it. It was enjoyable.
And of course, Chris, who just hopped in time to have a combat.
Hey.
See grenade explosions.
It definitely leaves me wondering what could have been if we had gone in.
It does, and I feel it would be a horrible nightmare involving people turning overnight.
Well, like, part of it is, like, we're wanting the social experience, but we're avoiding everything that isn't coming at us with guns.
That's true.
Right. Like, you guys had mentioned, especially Aaron, like, so many sessions ago, like, you wanted to find this compound to meet, like, a group of people with human social interactions and get mired in the thick of all of that.
But the idea of surrendering our weapons just seemed so...
That's going to happen everywhere unless we have the upper hand.
Right.
I would have been...
Right, you would need to be the ones to create your own compound so you could do that to people.
Or if we just walk up on somebody's, like, survival tents out in the forest and we walk up guns in hand and they're caught unaware, like, that's the only situation that we're not going to be disarmed.
Honestly, if I didn't lose my bat, I would have been all for it, because the bat is not really just a weapon to Kat. It's her last connection to her home and her life.
It has the one bullet in it that she's going to use to kill the last zombie.
The one bullet in the bat.
Yes.
Okay. So, well, that was a session-specific question. Then we go to campaign. I've done this in Session 4 and Session 8, now Session 12. What do you three think about the campaign thus far? Like, what has been your favorite moment of, like, these past 4 sessions?
I've got to say, I really like the Potman crossing the threshold into becoming a killer.
It was in self-defense.
Now, why is that, Aaron?
It gives Potman a whole new weight to deal with. It was kind of a liminal moment. I'm interested in seeing how it affects him as time goes on.
Okay.
The knowledge that he is now, even if it was in self-defense, a person who's killed.
Chris, what has been your favorite moment in the campaign thus far? So far, these past 4 sessions.
I'd have to say it has to deal with mostly the whole situation in the tractor supply place.
Okay.
The, dealing with people who were freaking out, one of them hostile, and it really going to hell when Fletch,
Yeah, I like that part too.
blows out his leg and then having to finish him off because you don't want to hear that mewling, or make him suffer, rather.
All right.
Oh, and then, of course, driving out in tractors on top of zombies.
That was awesome.
I definitely have to go with the inventory management on my notepad file. No, I'm partly the tractor thing because that was just, come on. Driving out in style at 12 miles an hour on tractors. But also Tony's freaking Jordan, really, his amazing driving rolls, just like ducking and dodging, swerving and hopping this car all over the place. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was fun.
All right. Then we'll get on with my next question. Then, what has been your least favorite part of the past 4 sessions, Chris?
That's actually a tougher one. God, that's really a tough one.
I think we lost Aaron there on a hiccup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd probably have to go with it being... I don't want to say the long drive, because the long drive was great with rolling, but that would probably be it. We didn't really talk enough inside. That's partially my fault.
Right, all that, dead air with just the driving that could have been filled with character interaction. Wasn't filled with character interaction. Ryan, what has been your least favorite part of the past 4 sessions?
And it's going to be a necessary evil because we're trying to run away from the quarantine zone or whatever we're going to call it. The zone.
Oh god.
Again, like the amount of dead air as we're just, we're driving along, we see something, we make a decision, we just keep driving, and it's...
Right.
it feels kind of slow during those moments.
And I could certainly add, like, more interactions and possibilities, and you folks just constantly losing cars and equipment as you're dealing with crash sites and well. I figured it would be best to try to gloss over some of it.
I really think until we get to a point where we feel a bit more secure in actually hanging around a place for a little while, it's going to be TV truck lady over and over again, because we can't take people on here. We can't really stop and be at risk of losing everything we currently have, which is everything we have again.
Right. That news van at the beginning of the session, I figured would be something that the lady crawling out of that you would bypass given your situation, but it was a possibility for interaction. And I figured that many others that I would try to put along the road along your trip would meet a similar fate. Have you just blowing past it anyway?
Now I will say, even if, let's say they're not fully fleshed out, or you just have some generic ideas of what might happen if we actually stop, I think the kind of the visual seeing the plight of others as shit hits the fan might fill some of that dead air a little bit.
Okay.
It's kind of like, random shit in Oregon Trail. You pass a such and such.
Aaron, are you back with us?
Yes, I am.
All right. What has been your least favorite part of these past 4 sessions?
Probably, honestly, probably the segment where I had to miss a significant portion of one of the sessions because, I don't know, just it feels bad to be out of the loop on part of a session.
Okay.
But as far as stuff that actually happened instead of disliking things not happening, geez, I'm not even sure. I guess I'd agree with the dead air thing.
I can definitely agree with that as well. I can definitely agree with the tedium of it, and I have honestly not been sure how to handle this grandiose road trip. I'm not too familiar with, I've not exactly had players who've just gone like on a road trip on a cross-continental United States thing. That's a new thing for me.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's like, all the 19 years of experience I have in tabletop role-playing games, this is the first time that this has happened.
Yeah.
Definitely doesn't give you a chance to like sit down and plan out an area and flesh it out really well, because we're probably just going to leave it in the mirror in, an hour.
That has created considerable trouble for me. Summer Meadow was much less easier. In that case, you consider it a sandbox with the walls around it, and at any time you guys could break through the walls, in which case I'd put you in the next area. But as soon as you folks began your trek and you were planning on doing this cross-continental United States trip, I've been wondering, like, where the hell am I going to do with these people?
Mm-hmm.
Like, even with you folks planning ahead, I don't know. At this point, I'm just, like, designing, like, a bunch of different modules and maybe plug them in as the situation arises. The next question I'll ask, and we'll start with you, Ryan, is where do you see this campaign going in the next 4 sessions?
Well, I'm sure it'll kind of attach to the next 4 sessions, but going into what you were just saying about how you don't really know what to do with it, in part because we're moving along so quickly, I can't see us actually, like, I know before we were talking, it was like, oh, we got to get away, we got to keep running. People are going to get tired of running. I'm not sure if it'll be the next 4 sessions, but I'm sure at some point we're going to be looking to not necessarily make a last stand, but make some sort of, okay, we're not going to run anymore, we're going to start preparing. And I've actually, like, I'd mentioned some of that in the Skype thing, where, like, in downtime, I wouldn't mind, like, sparring with some of the other characters, because I want to start working towards justifying useful skill raises. But more specifically in the next 4 sessions, I'm kind of expecting more of the same in terms of us barely staying ahead of this thing if it doesn't overcome us, at which point there might be some potential grief.
Aaron?
I feel like we're definitely in a situation now where unless we find a place to hunker down and heal and regroup over the course of weeks rather than days, we're going to die.
Mm-hmm.
Each of us is about one stray bullet away from dying, one zombie bite or claw, even if we don't get infected, away from dying. We're in bad shape and getting worse. Like, if that third grenade hadn't gone off the way it did, that scene was going to end in tragedy.
What about
And
those concerns?
we're all in bad enough shape that it could easily turn into a TPK.
Yeah.
So I see either us finding somewhere that we can, if not settle permanently, at least settle for a while, recover, or us getting a full party wipe.
Chris?
Honestly, are we still headed towards DC? Just a question before I make my statement.
Seems that way for the moment.
If we're still
Pretty much.
headed towards DC, I honestly see our protection ending up coming from our loving friends at the government. If anything.
To clarify, I believe we're making at least a dash for the eastern seaboard roads that head south.
I'm pretty sure that the seat of government's going to be a little better secured than this location. Like, just around it. Beyond that, though, I'm really seeing a lot more. I don't want to say chance for death exactly, but just the attrition wearing down as we try to get to somewhere relatively safe-ish. That's like the big thing I'm seeing.
Right. Each session has taken resources from you in the form of health or your ammunition, and as you folks have continued your road trip, you keep bumbling into, well, not bumbling, but you keep encountering situations, some of which are dangerous. And it would only be natural, especially given how lethal the system is, that, especially since you are encountering more and more humans.
Yeah.
Whereas these zombies, they're so, slow and just an inexorable march of death. In the case of humans, with how damaging bullets are. And how numerous they are.
Yeah, we've thankfully to this point, since leaving Summer Meadow, avoided the "we're surrounded" type encounter. But that's where the undead will become, threatening, extremely threatening.
Yeah.
Because you folks have chosen to run, and you have not been. There hasn't been a situation where you absolutely couldn't run. Society's anarchy has not spread so bad that the roads themselves are completely, inoperable. Although
Well,
to be
except for that one.
yes, although to be fair, especially if the infection has ended up spreading to major metropolitan areas, folks escaping onto mass transit systems, this thing could already be long past you and waiting for you whenever you arrive at your next place.
Yeah, that's definitely what I've been thinking about today.
There's that incubation time based off of, I assume, Constitution.
No, we'll be good. We'll be good. It's fine.
Totally, obviously.
Just keep the blinders on. We'll be fine.
It succeeds where Ebola has failed.
How could we not be fine?
Trusty Tony's with us. I mean, come on.
That's why you have moments, especially with the amount of information, perhaps real or fake, people have been armed with, where, strip searching, checking for bites.
They strip Tony and he's just covered in scars.
And then, that might be something that you as the group want to look into for all of your interactions with people.
Alright, everyone
So
get
you're
naked.
saying we should strip Cat? That's what I'm hearing.
You would hear that, Ryan, because you'd like to be difficult. That's why I kill you.
Aha, but I've won today.
What are you gonna do? Man? The kitten is already nude. Actually, have we checked that damn kitten?
You have checked the kitten like
It's been
no fewer
checked.
than 19 times since it was first
Seriously.
located.
You don't know how much distrust I have for something that can't communicate, oh god, I've been bitten.
I'm learning.
What makes you think that somebody who was bitten and we didn't know would actually speak up?
Indeed. It'll get better on its own. I mean, it got better
Those
on its
are
own.
all scars on Tony, right?
It got better on its own for Eugene, right?
It seemed to.
Better.
Eugene, delayed turning.
And, the government appeared to verify the fact that he was clean, right?
Yeah, because we
Appeared
trust
to.
them.
What about that fucking surgery we may or may not have had from the government?
No, let's be more specific. They said the operation was successful. We don't know whether that's specifying surgery or a mission.
You don't even know, man.
We don't know.
Whenever I made that statement, Ryan was like, no.
Yeah, well, I've since had time out of my cell with the little beady horn, and I've thought about it. And fucking horn.
I actually don't have any clue what you're talking about.
He doesn't.
You're lucky.
Perhaps you were lucky. All right.
At least Potman's lucky then.
That's where you see this going forward. Where do you want, what is something that you want to happen in the next 4 sessions?
Less avoiding potential encountered events.
Says the man who wanted to avoid potential encounters.
I said we go in.
It's what happens whenever, you sit down at the table with the DM, and the DM's like, if you avoid all of my adventure hooks, I can't do anything for you. Right?
Then I'm just going to force you into them, and they're not going to be pretty.
I mean...
Because I have to stop you to force you to go into them.
No, we can just keep driving through dead air. Why are there no hooks? Because you avoided them.
Yeah, I mean,
I
not only
was-
that, but, I can say, let's avoid less, but then one comes up and it's like, this seems shady, let's keep going.
All right.
I want to see more situations where there are no right choices. Especially situations where Potman basically has to choose between what seems right and the group's safety.
Okay.
I like that.
Yeah.
Anything more, Chris?
I kind of want to see a situation that's going to end up making Cat fuck snap on somebody.
Well, for what it's worth, if it comes to that, Fletch is just going to shoot her. Because it's kind
What
of
a beautiful
obvious.
sentiment.
It's kind of obvious if he's forced to do something that's going to make her fuck snap. There's not going to be reasoning.
You see,
for it.
and here I thought Chris was referring to an NPC, not you.
Yeah. I wasn't
yeah,
for you at all, actually.
that's you, Ryan. So egocentric. God.
To be fair,
I guess I'm just so vain. I think it's all about me.
to be fair, I thought it was about him too.
Show of hands in the comments from the viewers. How many of you immediately thought?
I was pretty sure that it was going to be Kat trying to kill Fletch.
That's kind of the impression I had.
Perhaps it's just my long time, role player sentiment of, naturally the players are not going to intentionally go for each other.
This isn't Shadowrun.
It would have to be really bad
Yes.
to have Fletch do that. But sorry, to make Cat do that to
No,
Fletch.
it's Fletch. It's Fletch's fault. Yeah, go ahead and say it.
Yeah.
Call it like it is. All right.
See, this rampant feminism is just too much.
All right. Are there
Outstandingly bad. That's what it would happen to me.
Right. Are there any questions or comments, either for me or for each other, since there's not a whole lot of group chat discussion that happens?
I think it's cute that Aaron thinks they're right choices.
What? No, I'm saying I want more of that.
No, I mean
More
like that
bad
any
or
choice
worse
could
choices.
be right. Like they're all just bad.
I like that. I want more of that.
The solution is to not make any choices.
Yeah, this
So-
sits still in
Steady on.
Your options are yes, no, and the question is wrong.
Oh. Oh, he's so scared of the thunder.
Aw. You know, I'm gonna spend my question on what type of dog is that?
Oh, he's a peekapoo. It's a Pekingese and poodle mix.
Like standard poodle or tiny poodle?
It's like it's somewhere between. He's either a small, medium size or a large, small size dog.
Hmm.
He's gonna cut the thunder
Seems like there was something I was going to ask Grimith, but I don't.
as soon
recall
as
the
he
moment.
finds whatever is making that booming sound. He's gonna mess it up. Tell you what.
I'm gonna reload the clip that I fired from. Does that count?
That's not don't worry, I'm sure you'll think of something, Ryan, for me to shoot down and for you to go, like an asshole.
Really?
I wouldn't
Every
keep
time.
talking to you if you didn't.
I do have to say that if anyone like in the current NPC list outside of Knight and Agent Douchebag, Fletch would probably be the most likely to cause her to lose it. Agent Douchebag probably the big one though.
Not Knight.
Knight's pretty bad, but I feel Agent Douchebag would mention something about what happened in Summer Meadow.
What did happen in Summer Meadow? What really?
You know,
happened in Summer
dying
Meadow?
parents, all sorts of like.
The elusive, like, holy grails of this entire fucking campaign right there.
I don't know. I think Fletch has different holy grails in mind.
Yes, he does have different holy grails in mind. Let me get those.
I think
Here you
in
go.
It's a paragrail.
I think in one of one of the
One of column A, one of
videos I
column
was
B.
going through and looking at the comments, and I just happened to see you had some like other pre-made character icons like ready in the shadows, and it was like, hey, who's that girl? Where can I encounter her? There's still time to go back in that compound, guys. The infection won't be
Fletch
here for
is,
like half a day.
Fletch is only one letter away from Lech. Well, not really, but phonetically.
It is kind of inclusive phonetically.
Where can I encounter that girl? What are you doing looking at my tokens?
It's not my fault. It was like dead center at the 0 mark of the
Maybe.
video.
Well, you know, it's not my fault you've missed those opportunities.
I like to think
Opportunity
that they're just cookie cutters waiting to happen.
You like to think that they're just like little modules all plug in when the situation merits.
Everybody can have a dream.
Yes, I suppose that's true. Anything else?
I can't think of anything.
Okay.
Not
We're
really.
getting experience. That's a good one, right?
Not because you asked. Thanks, Aaron.
No, it sounds pretty pushy to me.
The experience was learning not to ask for experience.
Well, how about that?
Yeah,
It'll take a while for that one to sink in.
I think 3 experience points for the 3 of you is sufficient. Jordan will not be earning any experience points for his character.
All right, I'm gonna say in advance that I'm gonna be putting those towards the first level of driving.
Sure. I think that's fair. After all of the driving attempts that Eugene has made over the years.
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna need to learn a ranged weapon at some point.
Yeah,
Turns
like a
out
crossbow
that, like,
or a bow and arrow.
turns out that people with guns don't feel like closing all of those yards of distance to fight the strength 4 person wielding a softball bat.
They're not supposed to know those numbers.
Yeah.
Gotta just
All I know
start
is that
carrying
she's
throwing
gigantic.
knives.
Yeah. They read her card just like anyone else
The
would.
stupid AI can see through fog of war.
Well, that's what's happening.
Hey man,
StarCraft bullshit.
3 experience points for the
What do I
3.
want to spend that on?
And basically to flip that in return, Jordan's character will not actually lose any ammunition. Somehow he invented those bullets that he used.
he was
He was
firing
shooting his ego at them.
Yeah, there we go. He was shooting ego bullets.
Mind bullets.
That's telekinesis.
Trusty Tony gave so little fuck that he's like, whatever.
So little fucks he lost count of the bullets and he actually had more than he thought.
Yep, there we go. That's exactly how that works. I love it when players just fill in the holes for me. It's great.
Isn't it just?
I create a scaffolding, and then you guys paint the rooms, and there we go.
Yeah, that's totally how it works.
Yep.
Why is the room always shit colored?
Well, that's I think that's an indication of what you want as a player. And what Aaron wants as a player.
Yup.
Obviously, we're in Silent Hill.
Well, the doors aren't all locked yet, so I don't think we're there.
Hmm.
In case I call this session adjourned, you can take your experience points and the experiences that you've had and converse with them as a group going forward. You have listed some concerns about the mortality rate and how you folks have managed to escape it the past several chapters, but that especially with this session, especially with Nathan Leck, the adversary, and some folks appearing concerned citizens
Man, he's the adversary.
with bullets.
So what you're telling me is Nathan Leck is the Great Satan.
That any danger could pop up and take you all out if you're not careful.
If Dragon Ball Z has taught me anything, he will be back as a cyborg.
All flesh must be eaten.
Or a zombie Borg.
Zomborg?
You guys didn't check the remains. There might be enough intact of him to make a serviceable zombie out of.
Would you say that RoboCop was a cyborg
God.
zombie?
Put a very tiny man in that machine.
Come to think of it, you folks really haven't been checking the bodies of anyone you've killed, like those gangers last session.
No, we haven't.
Well, we
No.
checked.
We went back to sleep with them in the house.
About.
Yeah, you check them for loot and then put them up like raiders do.
We also checked them to see if they were actually dead or if they were just dying.
Yes.
I checked one.
And when we realized they were just dying, we were like, let them linger.
The one I checked was dead.
Like you definitely scoured the bodies, but you didn't try to decapitate the heads and make sure they couldn't come back. You've littered the earth in your own way.
Yes.
In more ways than one.
And now that I've tried to make you folks self-conscious metagame wise, I am off.
Ah!
Yeah, that's not going to help.
Super Grimith away.
Da 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 da. That's the end, folks. See you all next time. Which is actually on the 1st of September, is when our next session will be.